Good morning. Welcome to Flat Earth Early Bird number 1621. I'm your host, Arwin. And before I start the show, please don't forget to share it on any platform you deem fit. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell notification so you know when I'm going live, which is normally 1 p.m. Amsterdam time in the weekdays and 2 p.m. Amsterdam time in the weekend. And please also do support me through the PayPal and the Patreon. That'll be much appreciated. You can always use the support. You know the rest of the story. Right. So, weather today again is super beautiful. It's exactly like yesterday. Although, it's not entirely pristine. There's like a bit of white haziness. I've seen some trails, but that only happened like, yeah, I don't know. I think it probably just blows away. But yeah, you can see that little white fluff there. That's the cloud. So yeah, it's beautiful. Plants are enjoying it. Although the parsley, I don't think it's gonna make it. We'll see. But the oregano plants especially are like really enjoying this. Rosemary bush also seems to be doing just fine. Enjoying, well, they do like hot weather, so. Basil is actually kind of surviving. I think it's starting to bloom. The really big shoots, they're starting to form flowers. In the meantime, the oregano plant there, that shoot is blossoming. It has been blossoming for, what is it, 2 weeks? It's really at its full now. Let me show you up close. See that? Gorgeous, isn't it? Alright, so the whole thing is doing great. It's funny how some of the leaves get purple. On the other one, on the other oregano plant even more. Right, anyhow. Hello, Skeptic936, first in chat. Richard G, good to see you both. It is Sunday, the 4th of June, 2023. I think the temperature is probably 23 or something again. Maybe Maybe 24. Yeah, it is 24. Wow. Does say a little bit of clouds. Now, it didn't say that yesterday. And it said like 4 days of straight sun. So yeah, the weather really never makes up its mind. It's not able to predict sudden cold days either thus far. So, but it seems great weather now, very sunny. Low flatter sage, Oz. Yeah, you want to see a squirrel play acting? One of the weirdest things I've ever seen an animal do. Check it out. Low clutch. Have I ever seen an albino squirrel? No. I don't, not yet anyway. Maybe one time and I forgot. I don't know. $30, bam. Yeah, better than minus 30, definitely. Right, but yeah, the summer's has definitely arrived here, north of the equator. Hope you're all having great days. Probably doing gardening work, if you have any. Squirrel for a pet, yeah. But just look at that thing from the link. Like, it's actually playing victim. And obviously for the fun of it, but that's pretty bizarre. I mean, I've seen birds do that to like protect their nest and all that. Like, oh, I got a broken wing. But that's like territorial defense. But this is just playing. Like, what? What? So squirrels apparently can have a sense of joy in trying to fool others. So that squirrels have a little bit of grabbler in them. Makes sense because they're nut collectors. Anyway. Yeah, the squirrel is hilarious, I know. But I thought it was, I mean, I see a lot of little videos here and there, you know. I mean, it's very easy to find these days. Just YouTube shorts or any other platform with shorts. But this one, like, that really stood out. I've never seen a squirrel do that. I mean, you barely even see dogs doing that, or cats. They don't pretend. Like, they don't set up a, oh, I created a calamity. Like, they don't do that. So it's like really bizarre to see a squirrel do that. Anyway, yeah, it's a bit weird for the entry on the Flat Earth Early Bird show, but I thought it was funny. So yeah, man, yesterday was a blast. The show was great. I mean, it was a long show, 2.5 hours. Hope you all enjoyed it. I did. Financial situation is not great though, but would be great if I got some support, or it's going to be a very stressed out week, if you know what I mean. Right, anyhow, Ballbusters was awesome, hilarious. We were like live reviewing this video over here. And it was just like, it was sort of like McKeegan level, but not very well learned. He was a complete numpty. I mean, but yeah. I mean, Ballbusters yesterday was freaking hilarious. It was great to be there. I mean, the first part of it was just talking about food, but then reviewing this thing, I just couldn't stop laughing. And he persistently mispronounced Pythagoras. He called him Pythagoras. And he kept calling him Pythagoras. And then there was like, I think it was Aristophanes. Oh, wait. And he called it, oh yeah, Aristophanes. And he kept calling it Aristophanes. It was like, dude. And that guy pretended to be, oh, I know it, I'm so correct. Flat earthers are so stupid. And he kept persistently saying these names wrong, which is just ridiculous beyond imagining for a flat earther to listen to that. And I can't believe that the guy just did that video and not have anybody tell him like, yeah, you know how you like pronounce those names? That's incorrect. Nobody told him that. I wonder, like, let me check the comment section, because I wonder if even anybody in his comments told him. Like, dude, what the fuck is this Pythagoras and Aristophanes? Nobody said anything about it. Like, nobody says anything about. It's just, are they all retarded? Are they all bots? I don't get it. Like, if I was a baller and I watched this video, I'd say, dude, this like really cute and all, but you really shouldn't pronounce those names that way. It makes you look really freaking stupid. Like, nobody said anything. What the hell's going on? It's such a bizarre little video. Anyway, the link is not the Ballbusters link. That's the video that we reviewed. It's like less than 4.5 minutes, but it took like over an hour to review those 4.5 minutes. Oh, hilarious. So yeah, if you didn't catch Ballbusters yesterday, I definitely recommend you watch that. It was a lot of fun. And the chat was all exploding too. Alright, on top of that, I watched a whole bunch of movies. I finished watching The Great Wall. Already told you guys about it, I think, from yesterday. Turns out it was a pretty interesting movie. It's hard, like, it's a weird whole though. It's like this super hybrid situation again, but interesting. It's like they sort of had a Lord of the Rings setting influence on it, but instead of elves, it was these Chinese guardians, basically. And they were all very elf-like, even in their armor and shit, and their spirit. It was all interesting, and especially from an engineering standpoint, the whole thing was like a feast for the eyes. Because they had like, this wall was not just a wall, it was basically a very advanced medieval style though mechanical fortress with like all kinds of traps that they could literally like in the middle of combat deploy. It was really, really beautiful and well thought out. It was a feast on the eyes for any type of engineer lover or people that like strategic warfare games and such. I mean, it was very much like a video game movie almost, in that sense. Combination between adventure and it's just like a video game war, but not. It was serious. It was pretty damn serious. I mean, it was pretty much like, oh, in that sense, it also reminded me of Diablo. It reminded me of the Diablo universe a bit almost, because it was literally like, yeah, somehow it reminded me of Diablo, of part of the story of Diablo, of Mount Arreat that explodes in that game franchise story, and then demons come out because there's like something there, the Heartstone or whatever. It's not really too relevant. But then demons come swarming out of the mountain. Well, that's pretty much the setting of the movie. It's a big freaking wall, and there's a mountain, and from inside the mountain come the hordes of demons that are all like one swarm. And it's fascinating because they had very Zergish development. They're smart, and they're a collective, and they communicate magnetically, and it's all part of the whole thing. So yeah, if I tell you more, it's a spoiler, but it's really a pretty interesting movie on Netflix. The Great Wall. It has Hollywood actors in it, definitely. It has that feel to it with the acting a bit, but it was still pretty enjoyable. It's like an action adventure thing with the little sort of feel of Lord of the Rings or Diablo, whatever you like. And that's it. But it's not like, ooh, darkness is winning. Definitely not. But it is tense. It's like a Helm's Deep movie, except it's not part of a bigger story. It's cool. It's very cool. In retrospect. Anyway, I watched that. I also watched Jumpers, another Hollywood movie, more sci-fi-ish superhero style, but not in that setting. Interesting movie. It was very thoroughly thought out. Like somebody really like say like, okay, what if people like some kind of weird power learn to dimension door, basically jump, teleport? How would that work? And then what's the world that happens in? And they developed it pretty well. Oh, that was an interesting movie too. Right. So yeah, I had a very enjoyable Saturday with a great Flat Earth Early Bird show, great Ballbuster show, and yeah, 2 great movies. So I had a really great day, really, overall. Huh. Anyway, got a gusto here. Really looking forward to that. Hello, Amanda Young, by the way. Good to see you. And Terra 306. Did I get your email? Yeah. Yeah, I did. To be fair, I only flicked through the document. It's really tedious reading material, to be fair. It's not exactly super presentable. It's like bad old printer style. So yeah, this is gonna take some serious focus and time to read through. I don't know if I'm gonna be very good at it, although it is only like 12 pages. So I should look through it at some point. But I'm saving it, at least. Do I have a girlfriend? Nope. Why? I've been thinking about it though. Like, even like what type of girl would I actually go for? It was interesting because was it Vox Day, an unauthorized, had a stream about that. About women. How they think was very interesting. And there's some things to it. It did make me think back again about what it was like with my ex and all that. I had a pretty good thing going with her. But she was just like over my head, and I kind of knew already in advance that eventually she'd lose interest. Like, it doesn't matter how much effort I put into it. Right. So that's definitely not the type I'm aiming for. Again, it was really so. I just wanted at that time. I just wanted like the most amazing girlfriend ever. That's really what I wanted, and that's kind of what I got. It really was. But that's not durable though. And I tried to sort of make it happen anyway, and that just doesn't work. It wouldn't set root in her soul. She just didn't really want to underneath it all. It's more like just role-playing to her. Like playing relationship. And then eventually she just like, yeah, I don't want to play this anymore. Because she didn't really want to get real anyway. So the North Sentinel Islands? Never heard of it. Oz? I don't know where that is even. About page 10 or 11. Yeah, I did. As I said, Flatter Stage, I did flick through it. I did see the words in there. Yes, sorry, dude. I should have probably just read it. It was just... I didn't get to it. Post in the chat. It's just a PDF file. It's not a link on a website. So no, unfortunately, I can't directly. I could drop it to you over Skype, or I could email it to you if you email me, and then I have an address to email it to. So I could forward it. Oh, what's that? It's in the Pacific above Australia. Okay. What? Okay, interesting. Historical piece. Lots of photographs of the region. That looks like a very interesting little documentary there. Thank you, Oz. I'll check it out. Right. Anyway. Come on, Amanda Young. You're gonna just leave it like that? Ask that question and then just say nothing? Why did you ask? Ew. That's just... oh. Gross. This is ridiculous. If anything, Nathan is my underpaying employer, right? Employer. It's not my girlfriend. One ridiculous. Come on, guys. Ninjas projecting, yeah. Or, I don't know, wishful thinking. I mean, a lot of these trolls, I think, are just kind of gay, and they secretly wish that I was gay so that they could get screwed by me or something, and it's never gonna happen. So they just project what they want. They just want me to be gay so that I'll just do that shit. And I'm not going to, because I'm not gay. I'm a straight fella. Yeah, I'm very heterosexual. Indeed. And I like all the role parts of relationships too. I really like those. It's like addicting to me. I really like to be a protector, safe. I really like to make a girl feel safe and free, but I don't like them to go crazy. So it's like I have a lot of instincts for like the old-fashioned relationship model. I really do. I always had that, even when I was young. And it's like girls were not interested really in any kind of seriousness, but I was. It's like, no, I wanna. It's like I just make me feel like a bird, like get a woman, and then just like make a nest, and then defend the nest and get food, and like that's the thing that kicks in. And that's even where like the energy for sex and all that comes from. It's because I'm courting them. It's because I want to mate. It's because I want to pair. Like, if that motivation isn't there, then sex is freaking lame to me. It's like, oh, I just want sex and then nothing. That literally gives me a soft one, okay? That's actually happened. It's like, oh, you don't want a relation? You don't want to really try this out? That just makes me lose interest immediately. And I know some of those types of women that are like super beautiful, and they'll be like, oh yeah, I'll do you for a moment. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not gonna do you. Like, yeah, you're really sexy and you could probably seduce me, but even as you did that, I don't really want to, though. And I'd probably feel bad if I did. So I have rejected good-looking women at times because it's like, no, what you want, I don't want that. Even though you're pretty damn attractive, seen as on average, it's just like, no, there's certain personality settings in you that I find that really off-putting, and there's like, oh, look at this beautiful woman, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm looking at another part of that, like her personality. You can see that. I could just see it. You could just see it. And it's like, ooh, that beautiful person's freaking cursed. A lot of beautiful people are just cursed. They're cursed by that beauty. It makes them socially deranged. They get a completely illogical, asymmetrical view of how social interactions work because of that shit. They become malformed, and it's really unworkable. Those women tend to like expect slavery from their men. It's like, oh, they're sexually interested, I can just make them do whatever I want. And those women can also be weird and like even attracted to men that aren't just immediately enslaved to them. It's weird how that, it's a puzzle that's just never gonna resolve. And I thought that I did with my ex because like everything about her, including smarts and all that, dynamic, it's like she had all the elements that could potentially have reformed her into exactly what I've always been looking for. She just didn't care enough to actually do that. In a way, I wasn't good enough. And it's like, it's not, oh, Erwin, you're telling yourself that's just, no, it was actually, I actually wasn't good enough. I couldn't keep it together. Because I knew that. It's like, I am not capable of doing the things on the long run that are required to keep you bound to me. Like, without losing it. Without ending up in, like, oh, she's gonna sleep around and such. And I have a suspicion that, no confirmation, though, that she probably even already did that while we were still together. I had suspicions. I just was so in love that I literally just, like, put it beside me. Because it would have totally exploded. If I would really push on it. Anyway, this is all getting a bit personal. Dude. They could take your help. Yeah, and she did. I did help her. I'm very proud of that. Yeah, she was just graduated from being a dentist. A lot of work. Getting into it, starting her own thing. I was in that phase, and I gave her a lot of advice, especially about holistic medicine and about just all these details. And she went for that. If she hadn't met me, she would have just been kind of mainstream dentist, not holistic at all. But yeah, she got into that because that's kind of how we met, and that's what I started talking. I was really into alternative health, learning a lot freshly through InfoWars and Natural News and a whole range of stuff that was all exploding out there on social media. And she was into it, and I helped her with that. So yeah, and I did that. I was continually like, yeah, I am a moral watch. Like, I can help you figure things out. Because I knew that she was kind of stumped in a way because of just shit that's happened in her life. And yeah, I was just providing that sensory data for her. Because she was interested. She was interested in adapting to doing the right thing. She just didn't really have like this strong conviction impulse from the inside to really uphold that. But I do, anyway. Don't look for love, it will find you. Hopefully. But, I mean, nothing's really seeking me out, though. Since I've went on social media, I haven't had a single girl actually romantically interested contacting me. But yeah, I mean, I am not like around on dating sites and shit. I barely even know how those things work. I just suspect all of them that they just want to rip money out of me and then not provide. Kind of like when you try to find a house. It's just, yeah, that's great. Yeah, just pay up a lot of money, wait a very long time, and then maybe you'll get something. And so I'm like, my tactic's always been, I just have to bump into a girl and it has to click and they have to want it. It just has to be right. What? You nasty. What are you talking about? I'm nasty. Oh, I'm so nasty. You have no idea what you're talking about. Oh, he's talked. Okay, I hope so. THC yak. But if so, yeah, I mean, when I hide them, it would be great if you wouldn't then respond to what they're saying. Anyway. But yeah, trolls are nasty. We know. Hey, LSG, good to see you. Alright. But yeah, I mean, sure, I'm very willing to help women to figure things out if they would need or wanted that help. Hold on. Right. But I mean, it's just, yeah. The women that I find really attractive, I don't know if they'd ever get to like flat Earth. They'd ever even dare to get near it. Because they're probably getting swarmed by men that are really triggered by it. Or maybe not, I don't know. It's just like attractive women tend to like become more public, exploiting their beauty and then flat earth is just something to avoid. It's like, oh my god, I couldn't risk that for my reputation or something, because they probably think that anything related to flat earth at first is probably crazy, because you get a lot of people that are like acting crazy and pretending to be flat earthers, or have been lured into becoming flat earthers. I mean, I bet that's actually out there. I bet this happens. Okay? That people, globe believers, go around, they find really kooky people that are barely coherent, but are like sociable, like they want to talk, but they don't make sense, right? So people kind of like avoid them because they're kind of nutters. I bet globe anti-flat earthers find those people and then tell them to get in flat earth. I bet that actually happens. I bet they find crazy people and then invite them to get into flat earth. Lure them into it. Because they want nutty, incoherent people to be having flat earth arguments, so that they can look super better in contrast to that. That's what they want. And that's why you get to see all these anti-flat earthers having videos, or people we don't even know, and like, oh, I got this flat earther on, and it's a freaking barely coherently talking nutcase that's making really stupid, archaic arguments that are like pre-2015 and not coherent. I think that those people get invited to become flat earthers. It's like, oh, you should get into flat earth. What do you guys think? Probably not a good idea to bring up FV on the first date. Well, how would I avoid that, skeptic? Because they're gonna ask, hey, what do you do professionally? Well, I'm a YouTuber. So what am I gonna say? I'm into conspiracy theories? Like, they're gonna figure it out pretty quick. Bring it up on the first meet and immediately reject the negative. Yes. Well, any woman that's gonna get triggered by flat earth, or triggered by a lot of subjects, like, my women are gonna have to be pretty good with holding back on the triggering. Because I trigger a lot. Tolerated at least. Yeah. But look, guys, it's not really gonna be super useful. I mean, I'll be able to like get dates and even be a flatter, but there's no way there's gonna be a wife out of that, because hey, guess what? I'm begging for money here and it's not really working now, is it? Let's be fair, guys. Yeah, I don't make a lot of money doing this. So even if I said, yeah, I'm doing this professionally, well, how are you doing? Yeah, really bad, actually. I mean, I have people know me. I'm good at what I do, but I'm not making anything out of it. So it's not like I can provide. Right? That's a problem. That's a persistent problem. A problem that only my followers can help me with. The only way to fix this is to actually support me. point where they're willing to hear you out. Right, well, if they're not willing to hear me out, then I can't even be friends. I have to, a certain degree, have to become friends with women before I actually start doing anything. Unless it's like so meant to be attractive that we just really can't stop each other, right? Then it's like a super fling thing. But I mean, that's rare. You could say that even with my ex, it was kind of a fling that I extended 3 years. Because I was madly in love with her, but to her it was kind of like a fling. Also, she did kind of like my protective nature. She did like she does, I'm not gonna keep going into it. Whatever. You're a glober. Yeah, but they would never call it that to other people, Tarot. The word glober only becomes relevant within the arena itself when they're going up against flat earthers. What they would say instead is, no, I am into science and social media and physics and astrophysics, right? They would just name those things. They wouldn't say we're globers, because of course they're globers. Like, the Earth is a globe, so of course. It's like saying, like, hey, I'm a human being to them, right? It's like, why would they say that? Of course they're a human being, right? But for a flat earther, it's different, because that's the thing that's off. Being a flat earther is not automatically assumed, of course. Most people don't even know that that's a thing, that's like a position you can have intellectually in extended fashion. Most people don't realize that. You had a woman hoped she would leave you when you told her flat earth. That's hilarious. Yeah, I've had some women that were like, no, I want you out, and I'm like, no, I don't want you. Like, I really don't. But I wouldn't say, like, I'm a flat earther. I would just, like, look them straight in the eyes and tell them, I really don't want you. And then if they would not listen, I would start describing in detail exactly what about them I didn't want. And then eventually they would leave. Right? Because if you're dead on honest to somebody that really is kind of like trying to go after you, if you're dead honest about why you don't want them, there's no way they can still ignore it. Because you're gonna go straight to the point. Anyway. Right, by the way, that only works if you didn't first get seduced to go for it. Anyway, right? There's somebody you really don't find attractive, but you already kind of sleep with them, then telling them exactly why you don't want to, it doesn't work. It'll just make them feel like you lied to them and that you use them, which is technically true. Right, so doing that only works if you don't, like, oh, I'm gonna sleep around anyway. Because then you're gonna bump into types that will try to stick to you. That's why I don't really sleep around. I did that for a bit and got all kinds of types that I ended up not really being interested in. And then I had to like get rid of them and feel guilty for it too. And with good reason. It was morally deplorable to do that. I just figured out that sleeping around, not cheating or anything, but sleeping around, finding women and just trying to do that it is deplorable. I could feel it. I could feel that it was. I didn't think so. I thought this is what you're supposed to do. This is what makes you a man. I can finally do it now, what I always wanted as a kid. And then I just figured out like this is not good. It's just not good. And then I started wondering, like, how can other guys do that and not feel really bad about themselves? I didn't understand that. Until I realized that some of those just really don't give a fuck about feelings of others. But I do actually care for the feelings of women. But I'm not gonna make it the #1 priority though. I'm not gonna give them whatever they want. Definitely not. How would you tell a woman you're not attracted to her but like talking to her but don't want to destroy her confidence? You don't. It's very simple. You see, the reason you like talking to those women is because they're giving you energy, because they are attracted to you. If you tell them you're not attracted to them but like talking to them, guess what's going to happen? The attraction goes away because now they know that you're not attracted, so they're not putting the energy into it, so it's just not going to work. It's that simple, Flatter Sage. So either you just let it muddy on, or you just be honest and get it over with. It's up to you. That's a really great idea. I love these drinks in the summer. Hey Cleary, good to see you. Right, but anyway, Flatter Sage, I hope you heard that, because I have actually an example from the other side. I've met women that like talking to me, and I like put in energy into it because I was attracted to and hoped to get closer to them. Well, it has happened that, well, of course, that eventually I make a move and then they tell, no, I really like talking to you, but I'm not attracted. Well, guess what happens? Immediately. That's it. It was over then. No more energy, no more interest in talking. That's just how it happens. Right? Right? Unless I would like be almost in love with them and I'd be like, oh, okay, you're not really attracted. Okay, we'll see about that. And then I would just over time try to make myself more attracted to them, or them attracted to me. And that sometimes even kind of succeeded. And a lot of the times it didn't. A lot of the times women actually were just interested in my intellect. And that's it. And it was always a huge disappointment. Because I am really attracted to female intellect too. But not just because I want to have a conversation. It's because I really find intelligent females very attractive. Anyway. So yeah, I typical, right? She has to be super beautiful. And smart. Yeah, and not worshipping the devil. That would be great if you could find that combination. It's bound to be very very rare. Because those people, yeah, women that are smart and attractive, they get the whole world's just theirs. You get corrupted really badly. Right? You already get you get a lot of the world, you get a lot of offers as a very attractive woman, even if you aren't smart. If you're also freaking smart, that's just unbelievable. And you're probably gonna have like enormous amounts of envy from other women. Enormous. Like Nancy Pelosi. What the fuck, Larry? You find Nancy Pelosi a really attractive and smart woman, do you? I mean, it could be worse, to be fair. But still, sheesh. Looking for a supermodel? No. Well, it's complicated, man. The thing about it is, when you get really attractive women, and hey, my ex was actually really attractive. I mean, seriously, like at least an 8. It was really attractive. But, now I'm losing. Yeah. The problem is with a lot of more attractive women is that they get really overly conscious about their own attractiveness. And so it becomes all about them in their spirit. And I can feel that. And that grosses me out. I like women that are really beautiful but not self-obsessed and that actually use their female attraction to impress. Like they utilize it. Like my ex did that. She was really attractive, but she wasn't like super vain and shit at all. It's very modest actually with it. But she could like make like really be like so fucking sexy. It just by she would just take a stance and I would go like, oh Jesus. Oh Jesus. She just had that power. But she wasn't like always like, I'm so beautiful. I hate that. I find it really gross. And there's a lot of those types of women that are attractive, but they're so full of themselves, and it's fucking gross. Gross. So yeah. She looks like an adult honey. What the fuck? Jesus. Letter Sage. I mean, what am I gonna say after that, Flatter Sage? Jesus. That's hilarious, by the way. LSG girlfriend doesn't know what a fire hydrant was for. Okay. Okay, so this chat's getting a bit weird. Starting with Cleary bring up Nancy Pelosi. What the fuck? Why would you do that? Anyhow, I don't even know what I'm looking for now. I wouldn't know where to find it. I'd say like, oh, probably somewhere at sports. But I mean, I'm not gonna be good at sports. Like, I was pretty decent at sports when I was like a teen and all that. Because I was like very young, very quick, very flexible. I'm not like that anymore, though. I'm still pretty good for my age. I have worked on my flexibility. It's just like my stamina is really sucky. I would have to like completely rebuild it up. Don't even know how good I could get it anymore. Because I'm not really a sporting guy. I mean, I make sure that I do like keep moving at least. That I don't really turn into like a couch potato. Like I do make sure that I like don't completely turn into that. But I'm not I haven't like, for example, the last time I've run, I can't even remember when, because I just never do that. And I don't jog. Last time I've jogged really was with my ex, which is now like 9 years ago. No, I do get quick on a bike. I do like to like really go fast on my bicycle though. So it's not like I completely never really break a sweat. I don't know. Do I do any hiking? No. Not really. I take a walk around the park. That's about as far as it goes. But would I do it? Dude, with a girl that I like, I do anything like that. I take a big challenge. I do it all. Love doing that. It's just I don't like doing shit. Just me. I just don't like it. If there's a woman there, it's like an instant motivation. It's just like, yeah, then I want to do it. I'm sorry, it's just the way I work. I look like Someone left the hook in the... What? Oh, shit. Skip me shredded. Okay, that's pretty cool. CrossFit? What is that? Cricketer will go on to play till you... Okay. Sure, Tarot. I mean, I can still do some of that. But I'm never gonna be like really good at it. Compared to the younger guys. What? NASA? What the fuck are you doing? What are you posting there, Five Roads? North American Squirrel Association? What the fuck is this? Is this a spoof site? The fuck? It's real? What the hell? Okay, whatever. Anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying the show. Yeah, but guys, I mean, United States NASA is like it's space pride, right? It's globe Earth pride. It is like pride. So NASA is gay. They have all these rainbow NASA shirt shit too. It's supposedly Pride Month. It's out there. I mean, I'm pretty sure that like in 10 years, like they will know. People will know. NASA is gay. It is literally a gay propaganda thing. Space is gay? Yeah, that too. It's non-existent. Right? So living in fantasies that don't really exist in your mind could be considered gay, since... Yeah. If you're gay, you live partially in your mind as well, because it doesn't actually work like that. You would have to keep in your mind to make it work, because it's delusional. The life of it is delusional partially, and so is NASA. right? God is truth. Satan is lies. It's that basic. NASA lies. Gay against God. Yeah, I know. Oh, but that's not really. Yeah, it is. So you just take that, put it together, and then yeah, you can make all these conclusions. Space, NASA, gay. Against God. And all these weirdo neo-satanic Christians that are like, oh, no, we have to be tolerant. Yeah, oh, Christianity was always defined by its tolerance. How much can we tolerate of those that want to actually destroy us? And how much do we adapt to everything that is in opposition of what our God tells us? Yeah, it's neo-satanic Christianity. Right? It's the Christians that adapt to Satanism. And that is something you should, per definition, never do. That's like the entire point of Christianity, of Christ's teachings, is that you don't adapt to the devil. Their rockets don't even go straight. Yeah, you bet. Right, but all these rocket launches, they're literally like a fireworks show. They're just a fireworks show with a make-believe of, oh, futurism. It's going to a region that can't actually exist, but as long as it kind of looks curved, its pathway, then you can think of it as going into orbit of the globe. And it's all like boom, big loud sounds, fire in the sky. It's fireworks. It's a really heavy fireworks spectacle with a futurist fantasy on top of it. That's what they really are. I mean, even if I knew it's completely pointless, I'd still like be interested in sitting through a rocket launch or something, just to see what it's like, how loud the engine roar is and all that. I'd still be entertained because hey, I like fireworks. But I'm not gonna fall for the futurist nonsense about it. And I will eventually point out, like, yeah, it is kind of expensive for something that doesn't actually deliver on the futuristic promises. It's kind of expensive for fireworks. Like, couldn't we do these fake rocket launchers cheaper? You know? Hello, Mojo Gustavo. Good to see you. Yeah, homeless people watching a $1 trillion bottle rocket. Indeed. Wonder if those rockets have any practical use? No, they don't. They're just pure spectacle. I mean, you gotta realize too, Fibroids, is that those rockets they're being pretended to be built to specification for all these virtual things they're supposed to do. Push all the way into the atmosphere and then deposit a thing there and all that, right? That's what they claim to be designed for. But they're not actually designed for that. They're actually designed to just mimic all that. A lot of the times, like if there's a satellite or whatever, it's built, they don't even put it in. They don't even put it in the rocket. Because the rocket is mostly just kind of a hollow helium balloon. Because that's much cheaper, you see? So even in that sense, rocket launches aren't actually as expensive as it is made to look. Because they don't put all that shit, they don't actually attempt it in accordance to what they say they do. They're faking it on purpose because it's much cheaper. You just have a mostly hollowed out balloon-like vehicle in the shape of a rocket and all that. They fill it with helium and then have slight propulsion. And that works great. And it's super cheap. Yeah. Rocketaloons, yeah. Rocket-propelled balloons. Sort of. Yeah, that's pretty much what they are. A lot of them. And that works really well. It's cheaper. So, what if they just said like, hey, we're doing this thing, but we're doing it only for 1/100th of the price. We can do that now. And that would be like, yeah, cool, dude. Just do it cheaper. More rockets. Awesome. Because it's so cheap. Because it actually is so cheap. And it doesn't actually achieve anything. And I think that eventually people just wouldn't even care. I think it's going to go to that at some point. At some point, people are going to realize we just want this illusion of rocket launches. We want to go to Disneyland. We want to make believe. But just make it cheaper, because we're not actually going to fall for the trick that you're actually doing these things. So just do it cheap and just give us that ride for a second so we can believe that it's actually real for a second. But without the giant price tag, because you're not actually going to do it. I think people would settle for that. It will be just like, oh, we got another rocket launch. We're going to the stars, guys. It's just a ride, but I mean, it's still cool, right? That's where it would go eventually. Right? The whole trick is going to get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper until it's just a carnival trick. And nobody really would be even expecting them to do anything. Because they just get CGI nonsense and a bunch of talking heads anyway that don't amount to anything. So they don't care, they just want to see the fireworks. Right? I mean, even I have that a little bit, being a flat earther. It's like, oh, they another rocket launched. And then sometimes I'm like, yeah, I don't really care. And other times I'm like, oh, I want to see that. Let's see the rocket. I know it's fake, but I will still want to see. Because it's like fireworks, and I want to see that. Do the rockets curve because of... No. They curve because the trajectory is specifically set to curve. Okay, turret. they curve to avoid the container. Maybe. Or they curve because simply at some point there's no more thrust. Have you ever thought about that, skeptic? Maybe those things could technically go straight up. And at some point it's gonna just lose thrust. Can blow out all the propulsion it wants, but it's what are you gonna push against? Super thin air. It's not gonna do anything. It's just gonna vent out and then eventually fall. So who's to say they have to avoid the dome? Who's to say they can actually hit the dome? Other than with like a military missile. I mean, I bet they could get military missiles to literally build up enough momentum to bridge the more vacuated part of the container. But a regular rocket like that, a big one carrying a lot of stuff, dude, it's gonna lose its grip in a very thin gas very quickly when it goes up there. So it's not gonna ram into the container. It would probably just go and just start falling down. That's what probably would happen. Rockets are meant to blow up. Okay, Richard G. I don't know about that. I mean, jet aircraft are basically rockets with wings. They're not meant to blow up. They could, but that's not what they're meant for, so I disagree. Rockets are not just all meant to blow up. Rockets don't push against air. Okay, Vimmelglast. So what are they pushing against then? Themselves? In a theoretical zero-G environment, something can't push against itself. It might eject a big part of itself, and then by the change of the balance of the weight, it might get a little nudge, at best, for venting off huge amounts. Big fiery explosion, just all directions, because it would vacate in all directions. It's not going to push it forward, though. It's not going to be able to build momentum in a vacuum. And any momentum from moving up in there will be lost because relative density is still going to be at work really high up as well. And then there's a lot less gas in that medium. So the relative density, this equilibrium on the entire object is going to be even more than down here, where the gas is much thicker. So you have both more disequilibrium on the rocket to go down and less grip to actually create that thrust upward. So it's not going to work. Oh, virus. Yeah. Globers claim rockets push against it. Yeah, but it doesn't though. Yeah, the whole thing about propulsion using rocketry or controlled explosion is that you push against the surrounding. That's propulsion. You push against the surrounding in order to create an acceleration from that. If there's nothing to push against, then you're not gonna build momentum. You're not gonna accelerate. You can't push against yourself. If you push against yourself, you're not gonna displace yourself. You're just gonna rearrange pressures. You can't push against yourself and then make yourself move. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. When you walk, you don't push against yourself. You push against the ground. You push the ground backwards, create an acceleration, and then you balance to meet that acceleration. You push against the surrounding in order to move. That's how it works. You can't push against yourself and then expect motion out of that. You have to push against something, right? To push your feet against the ground to move. A bird has to be very light and then push its wings against the air in order to make it move. Yeah, a bird's not going to fly in very low air environment. There's only certain types of birds that can even fly super high. Like hawks and all that. Most birds don't even fly that high, because their wings are not built to be able to sustain lift at those heights. Because there's not enough air pressure. Their density ratio is not low enough to give them that lift at those heights. Rockets, any fuel for combustion? Yeah, that's cute. Yeah, rockets have fuel. Yeah, and the fuel that they expand and create gas pressure. But what's that gas pressure gonna push against in order to create momentum in the entire thing and make it move within Euclidean space? It doesn't. The gas might expand in that controlled explosion from the rocket, and then it will just explode in all directions. The gas will boom and then just screw off. Just, oh, look at all that room to move into. Well, just go there. It's not gonna be able to find anything to brace against in order to push back against the rocket and make it move. You have to push against something in order to move. Just like you have to push your feet against the ground to make yourself move in relation to the earth. The same goes for things that are mid-air. If there's not enough air there to push against, you're not going to be able to make yourself displace. Except by passive displacement, relative density disequilibrium, which is going to be down for a object high up. Gas does not expand in the direction of the rocket. But it doesn't need to. It's not gonna push back on the rocket, because there's nothing else to stop it and make it go the direction of the rocket, because it can literally go off freely in all directions. It's not going to push back on the rocket. There's nothing there to stop it, to make it push back. There's nothing containing the gas in order for it to create thrust. It doesn't work. And Newton's laws are bunk. They don't actually work. Yeah, something could have momentum, but only the momentum it got. It would have to have that momentum already. Yeah? Well, guess what? In this realm, nothing up there can build that momentum, because they'll lose it because of the relative density disequilibrium. So you can have massive momentum going up, building all that, and then eventually you won't be able to build more momentum because there's nothing left to push against to increase it. But the relative density disequilibrium will push down on it. It will be going down eventually and thus slow down in its ascent. So it just doesn't work. Gas has to push against something to make thrust. If it doesn't push against something, then that also means it can't push back to make something that created that displace. It has to push against something. There's the rocket. Yeah, it's not pushing against anything in order to push back against the rocket, though. I keep saying this. If this is now the third time I've said that. So yeah, there's a rocket. Well, it's not going to push against the rocket because it can literally move into open space. It's not going to be able to brace itself against anything in order to push onto the rocket to increase its momentum. You have to push on something else in order for the gas to push back onto the rocket. There's nothing else to push off out there. So the rocket's not going to build momentum. This is how it works. Gas has to press against a container in order for it to displace anything. If there's no container wall, if there's an open, endless space, well, then there is no container wall for the gas to push against in order to form gas pressure, in order for sudden gas expansions, like sudden gas creation, like a rocket engine, to create a push on the object itself that's creating all that. It has to push against something. Other gases that are there, stable. Those other gases can only be there stable because of a containment situation. Because the gas pressure needs a container first to expand into, and then when that's happened and it's filled the available volume, then gradation might happen as a secondary effect to divide the gas pressures within the available volume. Right? If there's an open space, what is it going to push against? If there's not enough gas pressure around because you're in the thinner regions of the gas pressure gradient, how are you going to build enough momentum to keep going? You won't. You'll decrease momentum because the relative density disequilibrium is going to pull on the rocket in its ascent, yet the thrust power of the rocket is going to decrease as you enter the lower gas pressure regions. Eventually, it's going to stop moving up, even if the rocket is blowing, and it will just fall down. Because there's not enough gas pressure to push off. It can't sustain the momentum against the relative density disequilibrium influence of it. Yeah, I know, Terret. Akumu thinks anything is funny that completely disproves his worldview. He always thinks those things are funny. Because when he thinks that they're funny, he can just discard it much easier and not be burdened by its implications. That's how Akumu virus works. Alright, I'm going to take a 2-minute break. I'll be right back. Yo-yo without a string? Nah. Yeah, it's a funny movie, isn't it? Much funnier than the realization that your entire globe cosmology doesn't work at every corner, every aspect of it. Nothing about it works. Wherever you go, whether it's mathematical, measured, conceptual, it doesn't matter. Everything about the globe religion is completely and utterly broken and incomplete. And the only way it can even work in your mind is if you overlook how broken every aspect of it is, and then on the surface just connect it up so easily in your mind. Just don't check it all. And then it works great. It all seems to work on the surface. What doesn't work? Can you give an example? Yeah. The gas can't stick to a ball in outer space. And the standard response would be gravity. People that say that don't even know what gravity is in order to be able to do that. And then when they do realize that it must be a force in order to be able to get close to trying to do that, then the realization historically is there that it's a very weak force and it could never be able to amount enough influence to oppose gas pressure expansion in a container, which is like one of the strongest entropy forces. Yeah? Every detail of the globe cosmology is broken. Every aspect. Other examples? Yeah. Rockets can't propel themselves in a vacuum. They could carry some momentum, theoretically, if there was no disequilibrium force on them. But they could not actually add to that momentum. It would just go in its path, and that's it. Wouldn't be able to slow down, accelerate, anything. It's just going to retain its momentum in that presupposed vacuum without a disequilibrium force applying to it, and that's it. It can't propel in the cosmology. Another break, massive break. Yeah? Let's start with the Big Bang. Yeah, everything out of nothing. Yeah, that's physically impossible according to all standards. Yet it's just accepted. Do I need to go on? No, rockets have nothing to do with the shape of the Earth. Yeah, it does. It does, because rockets are claimed to have been used in order to prove the supposed shape of the Earth. So they're definitely involved. Xandos. They're involved in the claim of Earth proof. Yeah? How else would you get a photo from Earth out of space? Well, you would have to have a rocket that would go out in the vacuum to do that. But that couldn't work. Everything about the globe model is broken. Every detail. Yeah? How about your Earth curve? Yeah? Oh, look, one day, some days, it looks really flat and you can see this incredible distance at a very low observation height. Oh, yeah, globe broken. It's broken right there. Oh, it's refracted? through some magical curvy terrestrial refraction, well then you don't even know the radius. How could you ever measure the radius if you can't see it where it is? Now we have even less. Everything about the globe model is broken. Every aspect of it. Yeah? Let's go to some other nonsense claim. Yeah? The moon gravity thought of as a force, creating the tides. Oh really? Then why do the tides happen twice a day and the moon only comes by once a day? Less than once a day. At irregular intervals, because the moon presupposed orbit, or the moon trajectory in reality, is longer than the sun. So why would there be 2 and in some places 3 tides locally, and then a couple of 100 kilometers away from that, no tides? Yeah? How's the gravity of presupposed ball moon doing that by going by less than once a day? Nothing about your claims make any goddamn sense. Nothing. Yeah? How about your fucking moon reflector? Oh, we know it's a physical object because we had a radio or some kind of radar thingy send a signal and we got the signal back. Yeah. And then we went to the moon to install a reflector so you could do that, even though they've done it before it was actually possible. Yeah. How about one story that involves proving the globe that isn't a complete and utter screw up? How about one thing that isn't a total fuck up? Yeah, there isn't any. There is no globe claim that isn't a complete and utter fuck up. Not one. Yeah? Suddenly got really quiet from the globe side, did it? Why get so triggered? Because it's insane. It's annoying that people would hold on to, defend, and attack opposition to a religion of absolute broken logic. It's the most broken logic assembled religion that has ever been conceived, where every single aspect of it is completely disprovable. Yeah? Yet it persists. It persists on the retardation of people, on their stubbornness, on their lack of mental acuity, on peer pressure, weakness. That's what it's perpetuating on. Because logic is definitely not a foundational part of the globe religion. Yeah, I got a good title for today. Globe religion is a silly expression. No, it's dead on target. It is a religion. It's a provable religion. Even though believers in it can be very logically crossed cross-referenced with other religions and the behavior of the people in those religions, you can put it right next to it and you'll find that even the patterns of how people do things with those religions match almost in every sector how globe believers behave. Because the globe is a religion. It is the religion that claims it isn't a religion. It's an actual religion. Right? Modern Christianity is barely a religion compared to the globe. Because modern Christianity just... a lot of people in there just think of it as a religion. It's like, no, this is just a thing we do. They don't really believe in it. They don't think it's true. Yeah? So it's barely even a religion. It's just a old tradition to a lot of people. It's just a tradition. It doesn't really mean all that. They don't really believe it. They just like the story of it. They think it's hopeful. It's like their favorite movie. It's like, oh yeah, man, I really love watching Lord of the Rings every now and then. They're like, yeah, I really like the story of Jesus. But all the other bullshit that surrounds it. I mean, Jesus, not bullshit. A lot of these things that surround it, definitely bullshit. Definitely should sharpen your mind. Like, wait, there's a test going on here. But most Christians barely even see that. So, it's more of a religion to believe in the globe with all these facts disproving it than it is to be a Christian in modern day. Because those modern day Christians barely believe it. They barely actually take everything serious. They don't take it for what it's really worth. For the brilliant spiritual insights that are present within that book. They don't take it. They don't take it serious. They don't really believe in it that much, or they would do much more. They would cause more friction. They would hurt more feelings, like Christ did. They don't do it. They just make it political and like, oh, we have to protest against this and that. And that's what they do. They don't test their fellow Christians. They don't go up to the pastor and say like, hey, this is actually wrong. You shouldn't promote LGBT, for example. That is literally Satan to the church, to Christian. They literally, like, those people are super anti-Christian at the core of it. You should never tolerate it. But Christians are barely even willing to speak up for that. Or they simply are so incredibly ignorant that they don't even know it is their arch enemy. They don't even know. Because they're ignorant. And they don't actually take the writings serious of their Bible. They just go along with whatever. They're not really religious. The globe, now they are religious. They will go into a fight for that shit. When's the last time you've seen a Christian get into a fight over defending his beliefs? It's a long time ago. When's the last time you saw a glober go fully spastic and maybe even violent because a flat earther pointed out something about their globe religion? We see it all the time, especially online. It's all over the place. They go ballistic. See it all the time. People going ballistic over trying to defend their globe religion. Globe is more of a religion than Christianity is in this time. Because the globers actually believe it's real. When majority of Christians don't actually believe it's real. They just think it's a really good story and they want to believe, right? You have to believe. You have to believe in the Trinity and that Christ is his own Father, or you'll not be forgiven. So they hold on to that. It's like the prize. They have to believe something. Don't think about it. You have to believe or you don't get the prize. They don't think about it. They don't test it like Christ did. Would go into places, confront people about their behavior, about what's happening. That's what Christianity really is. Christianity is getting in there, saying something that nobody wants to hear that's real and correct, and then getting flack for it and being ostracized. That's a real Christian. That's what Christ did. That's what it is to be a real Christian. It's not to get political. It's to get among your own and point out things that nobody wants to know about. Because then you have to face something very personal that hurts. The devil hidden in them. That's what a real Christian does. Test everything, especially things that are held dear. Prove it. Prove it through logic. What about other heavily criticized aspects of Christianity? Communion, original sin? Well, original sin is a Catholic invention, literally. Provably, historically, it's literally made up. And so is hell. It's an invention. Like the afterlife place that is hell is an invention from Catholic priests. Christ never referenced that. In reality, hell is more like a frequency. It's a spiritual state that you can be in while you live. And it'll feel like an eternity, right? You can experience hell. All you have to do is sin. And it'll start happening to you. You'll get in there, and then it will get hard to get out. Unless you repent. Hell is something that happens to you while you live. And the priests made it into a afterlife thing. Right? You don't do what we say, well, you go to hell. That's what they weaponized it. They weaponized something that is real into a political tool. To a theocratic political tool. That's what they did. Yeah? As for the communion, I mean, communion is just a ritual. It's just a remembrance ritual. It doesn't technically do anything. It's just there to remind you. To remind you of that part of the story which is claimed to be almighty, all-important, that Christ sacrificed him, that he was knowingly, willingly going to his end. And there's something really mystical about it, and it is mystical. And then that is expressed through the communion. It's his sacrifice. But then it's all over-exaggerated. It's like, no, you have to do this ritual, or you're not part of, or you're not safe. You have to keep doing that. Or you could go to hell. Right? So it's made into this mandatory ritual, and now you can't be considered Christian without doing that. Why? I mean, Christ did actually, during that thing, during the Last Supper, he did tell people to do it, right? He did tell, like, you remember me through bread and wine. He did say it. But did he tell everybody, this is mandatory now. Everybody has to remember me through eating a piece of bread that you think of as my flesh, and through drinking water or wine, which is supposed to be my blood. You have to do this or you risk going to hell. Did Christ ever say that? Did he? No, he didn't. He did not say that, did he? He just told them, remember me. Remember this moment. It's important. Remember me through this. You can remember me through this. Did he say, you must do this or you will not be saved? No, he didn't. Lake of fire, furnace of evil souls. Right, but I mean, you're talking about an afterlife situation, and I don't think Christ really even expressed himself too much about it, about the afterlife. He just mainly focused on what you got to do in life to be one with God, to be closer to God. That's what he talked. He didn't talk about the afterlife. Or am I incorrect here? As far as I'm aware, he didn't really talk about the afterlife. He just told you, you got to do the right thing, you got to do what God wants, and then you'll be closer to God. And then you're saved with God. But he was never very specific as to what would actually happen. Right? So yeah, there's the Hebrew conception of the lake of fire and all that. But like, what is that? Is that where everybody goes? Or is that where the evil people came from spiritually? Some people get born and they just always feel like, yeah, I like hell. I like the idea of that. I like the demons. There's people that are like that. It's not because they were raped as a child necessarily or something. It's just kids grow up and they're like, yeah, I like that shit. And they will be like rebellious and they will be anti-Christian because they're like, yeah, no, I like hell. There's people like that. Well, you could say, okay, that's probably because their souls were spawned from the lake of fire. And they will probably return to the lake of fire when it's over. Because I think that the lake of fire is a frequency. It's a frequency. It's a spiritual frequency. And you can spawn from there and return there. Something like that. Kingdom of heaven. Yeah, I did speak about that. Indeed. But he was never like super consequential about it, was he, Adam? He has never said like, oh, you can go to the kingdom of heaven or you can go to hell. He never talked about that. He just spoke about the kingdom of heaven, as you said. And how you get closer to God and... So I reject the Bible and only go by the passages Christ spoke. Yeah, pretty much, classical homeopath. No, I will... It's not that I reject it all. I just think that everybody was pretty freaking delusional. Because people are. Most people are freaking delusional. Especially people that get power and momentum. They're usually pretty freaking delusional. But when I read Christ's words, I know that he knows. And that he feels like... Let's just get through this. You can hear it. You can see it in the frequency of what he says. How he says it, when he says it. He knows. He knows everybody's freaking delusional. He's just damage control. Right? So I feel it from him, and I know, like, yeah, all these ideas and what other people say, that's all cute. But they're delusional. Because almost everybody is. I think that Christ is like the real exception in the whole thing. He's the one that's really not delusional. And the rest is, to a degree. So why would you then trust their word over Christ's direct words? I don't. I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. Yeah, but what does that mean even? Is that sounds very spiritual and metaphorical. That's the whole issue with that, right? It's kind of mystical as a statement. It seems spiritual, not literal. Father's house are many mansions. Yeah, he did definitely know players. But I mean, Jesus just rolled it out. He just said it. And he was probably lucky to have scribes around all the time to basically record what he was saying. But he's talking metaphorical a lot. He is doing esoteric speak. Jesus is doing a lot of esoteric speak. But he's doing it not to like, oh, just say something to mesmer everybody and then we can move on so that he doesn't have to address something, right? No, he just uses it. Not to avoid, he just uses it. He's just talking about deeper things that most people won't be able to reach. But through this metaphorical esoteric speak, he can still convey the cohesion of what he's seeing. That's right. It doesn't say if you're good, you go to heaven. If you're bad, you go to hell. That's right. Christ didn't say that. I knew that. That's why I brought that up. I was taught that very early, by the way. I kind of like muddied into the background. But I was taught that quite early on, like in my teens, that like hell and heaven, like, because I kind of believed in that much younger. But then it was informed to me, like, yeah, no, that's actually made up by the Catholic Church. There's historical proof of that. That before that, it wasn't there. Nobody talked about that. And that Christ didn't. It's just a personification. Whatever, George. Doesn't even matter to him, to me. It literally doesn't matter to me. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Christ doesn't have to have been a real person ever. He is. I'm pretty sure that he was a real person. Probably different from how he's been written about. But I'm pretty sure there was somebody there that was actually named Jesus. And, or what is it? Jehovah or Joshua or something, and he had said those things, and he had said it that way. I think that the words of Christ are actually quotes, and that it was mostly a rearranged screenplay. They just turned the original history into this screenplay setup, involved the whole Gnostic celestial system in the story of it. But it's a rewrite. But I definitely think that the words of Jesus were his real words, rearranged, so that they still apply in context, but that basically those story moments have been re-altered in the setup to fit that new story format. So in my view, the Bible is based on a real historical event, but rewritten into a more dramatized version with Gnostic influences. So religiously rewritten, effectively. That's what I think. So to me, it doesn't really matter. Like, I believe Jesus was a real person. And I'm in awe of the power of his spirit and his wisdom that's shining through, even though the story is likely a fraud, technically. But it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. the value of that spirit frequency is so palpable and so immutable, it doesn't matter whether it was all made up. That's what it is to me. It literally doesn't matter whether it was made up or not. It's so powerful, it just doesn't matter anymore. To me, I just recognize the strength of it. Well, yeah, classical. Yeah, you could say it like that. There is a pure Jesus deep down in the depths of a rearranged, corrupted Bible. Yeah, that's roughly it. If it's a fraud, then where did the wisdom come from? Well, from the things that he really did in his time that were noted, and they were effective, and those moments were noted, and then rewritten. The way he applied his knowledge in the real world would have been taken note of and then rewritten about, like a mythology, made into a mythology, right? A mythological description of an event based on something that was really witnessed. And the wisdom is just there. Is there through what is happening. So even if you rewrite it in the story, the wisdom is still palpably there because it's based on something that really happened. Right, guys, I hope you are enjoying the show. Only direct historical record of... Yeah, I know. It's probably because the original historical writings from original Christianity, yeah, which Saul was an effective assassin of those people that had that, and he probably burned all the original Bibles. Yeah. The original story is lost. It was all destroyed. It might still be in there in a Vatican library or something, right? There probably is a original copy somewhere, but it's mostly been destroyed in favor of the mythological rewrite in which idolatry happens in plain sight. Right. I don't know about that though, Adam. The only historical record of Jesus? It's not the only. I mean, what about that temple in India that has record of Jesus arriving there? That's a historical record. That's not part of the scriptures of the gospel. He's not in the history as we know. Yeah, but that's probably because the history as we know it is a complete cluster screw of political rewriting. I mean, rewriting history is probably the biggest focus of the Catholic theocracy age. That's what they were doing. Rewriting everything. Making a new history. Creating a new reality, right? Which would eventually lead to the satanic globe religion. The discovery of science, like that. Right? Oh, the planets. And then calling it science, etc. You know how it goes. They were rewriting everything. They were erasing the past. Right? They erased giants. They literally kept it out of the book. Out of the Bible. There were writings about it. It was kept out. So they were politically trying to rewrite what happened in history. What Catholicism did. And they're still doing it. Yeah, in the 20th century, through Catholicism, the Big Bang was made up. They're still doing it. Yeah? Over half a millennium later, they're still doing it. It has not stopped. Just because they're not officially in control doesn't mean that they've stopped doing what they've always done. Rewriting history. There was no need to burn or destroy original Bibles. It hadn't. How do you know they didn't exist? And besides, it was probably, a lot of it was verbal tradition. Do you even realize that? Like, writing was not as common back then as it is now. So a lot would simply memorize it and just tell it. They'd memorize the story and tell it. Yeah? Like, really dedicated Muslims do that too. They memorize the book. That's what they mostly used to do. So how do you get rid of that story? You kill everybody that memorizes the story. So technically there wouldn't have to have been a paper version or a book or parchment. It would just be a matter of killing all the ones that know it by heart. And I think that's exactly what Saul did. Killed off the old tradition, the old storytelling, in favor of rewriting this thing. Right, anyway, hope you guys are enjoying the show. I've been going for a while. Man, I've already passed the 2-hour mark. I can't believe it. So you're getting 2 extra long shows? How about that? It would be great to get some support, maybe. Maybe it would be worth it. Worth the great show. Right. Anyway, this all like really swimmed off into Christianity and the Bible and what is it and what do I think about it. It started out with the globe though, and how it is a religion provably. How it is more of a religion than modern Christianity. Because a lot of modern Christians don't really think it was literal. They just really like the story. They see it as a mythology they believe in rather than it being absolutely literal. What? Information traveling or spooky? Wow, spooky action you mean? No, it's just manifesting synchronized. Light travels instantaneous, so it's going to be very fast through the optic cables. I don't understand getting wisdom. What are you saying? What? What are you talking about, Cleary? What? I don't know why my computer is doing that. This fan is going on, but I didn't even do anything. It's like, why are you suddenly getting hot? Weird. Yeah, hey, George Sanford, why didn't you stop doing that? Nobody here is like that. Nobody here thinks, oh, you have to believe or you won't be saved. I did a whole frickin' speech about that here earlier on this show. You don't have to be like that to other people in the chat here. No. I mean, I don't believe in the words. I can just determine that they are powerful and wise. Like, irregardless of whether they are actually historically true or not. It doesn't matter. They're still very valuable. Is absent. Yeah, Adamican. But who do you think did that? Must have been the Catholic Church. Must have been. They had to have erased him in order to make his history, to get control of it. Yeah, the Romans, but that's late. Yeah, that's what the Roman Catholic Church became. So yeah, Romans captured Christ, basically. They tried to capture and assimilate. They captured him, killed him, and then grafted in his work and tried to hijack his ascension, his religion. And they assimilated it. They took it over. They encapsulated it. And they've been carrying forth Christ ever since. But always carrying him in a encapsulated bubble of nonsense, where they declare him both to be God and and say a whole bunch of things about him and about how things work that he's never said. Right? So much of what the Catholic Church actually does, if you read Christ's words, then you should know that the Church shouldn't do that. Yet they do. Is the corrupted version? Yes, because there is no more uncorrupted version, classical homeopath. There is no standard uncorrupted version available. There's only the corrupted version. That's the only thing that's left. So we're just left with the traces. Right, so I think I'm gonna round out the show. I was really hoping for a PayPal donation though, because I'm gonna be needing it, guys, or I'm gonna literally be very hungry before the week ends, before the next weekend. Keep saying it. Eventually, if it's gonna not grow, if it's not actually gonna roll in some support, I will quit. I will quit. I will really fucking quit. Can't do this for free. I can't. I cannot do this for free. Understand? Make it happen. I'm making it happen. Now I need you guys from your end to make it happen. I keep saying it, yes, right. And then eventually people do support me. And then I just barely make it. Right? I love having these discussions and all. I just can't do it for free. And that's fact. I need support. Did Jesus ever actually say I'm God? No. He did say me and the Father are one, though, I think. But never did he say God. I think he mostly even referenced God as the Father. I don't think he even used the word God that much. Or I don't know if he ever used it. I'm not sure. Religion is psyop? The very foundation of the concept of religion is a psychological operation. Yeah, religion is fundamentally and has always been a psychological operation. Always. Since the beginning of time, religion has been a psychological operation. That's correct. PayPal? Okay, cool. Platter Sage, thanks. I'll check it. But thank you, man. Right. Yeah, I'm very curious to look at that North Sentinel Island documentary from Oz earlier. Still got it open. I can't wait to watch that. Looked very interesting. Lots of photos. Right, but I am gonna round out the show. So thanks everyone for coming. I hope you liked this show. If you did, then please don't forget to Rogan's it up. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification so you know when I'm going live, which is normally 1 p.m. Amsterdam time in the weekdays and 2 p.m. Amsterdam time in the weekend. And please also do support me through the PayPal and the Patreon. That'll be much appreciated. And yeah, I definitely need the support. So please keep it coming. That would be great. Don't build up debt and financial anxiety, and that makes for a much better show now, doesn't it? Like today. Right. So I'll be back tomorrow with Flat Earth Early Bird number 1622 on a Monday, so it's going to be 1 p.m. Amsterdam time again. Or I'm going to try to aim for it. It might be late. I've been late a lot. I realize that. Right. But I'll try to be there on time. So I hope to see you all there tomorrow. And until the next video, keep it flat. And yeah, have a really nice Sunday in this beautiful summer Sunday. I hope you got this kind of weather too, because it's really beautiful over here. Alright, so again, until the next video, keep it flat.